Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। So welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam view class. We are discussing from the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So last time we discussed about the story of Markandeya Muni, how Markandeya Muni, after the sages of Naimisharanya, they heard from Sud Goswami about all the Vedas, how Vyasdev, he gave all the Vedas to his disciples, and how he he wrote all the Puranas, and one of the Purana was Markandeya Puran. So when the sages of Naimisharanya, they heard about Markandeya Puran, so they asked about Markandeya Rishi. Because Markandeya Rishi, he was a very, very powerful and exceptionally wonderful sage, and he was practically, he had conquered death. And in response to that, Sud Goswami described how Markandeya, he performed such wonderful tapasya that he actually got darshan of Lord Narayana. He was practically living for 6 kalpas in meditation. And then he requested Lord to show him the Maya Shakti, illusory energy. And then we discussed how we heard how the Markandeya, he was in the ocean, in the ocean of annihilation for millions of years. And then he saw a beautiful child. He went into the mouth of the child, and then he saw the same thing inside also. He saw the entire universe, and then he came out. This happened 7 times. And then ultimately, uh, he saw that all the waters of annihilation had vanished, and he was in his same ashram as it was before. So basically, all this was the vision which Lord gave to Markandeya Muni, just to show him the power of illusory energy. So this is what we discussed. So now in the 10th chapter, which is entitled Lord Shiva and Uma glorifies Markandeya Muni. So it is described by Sudha Goswami that having seen the illusory energy of the Lord, Markandeya Muni, he took shelter of the Lord. He offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. He says, O Supreme Lord, even great devatas are bewildered by your illusory potency. Therefore, I take shelter of your lotus feet, which bestows one fearlessness. So once it so happened that Lord Shiva, he was traveling along with his consort Uma and some of his associates. So Lord Shiva, Uma and all the associates, they saw Markandeya Muni in trance. And when Parvati, she saw this very powerful sage, such a great devotee of the Lord, She tells Lord Shiva, just see this learned Brahmana, his body, mind, senses, they are completely motionless, in trance. So she says, he's as calm as a ocean which is not agitated by the wind. So she requests Lord Shiva, please award this sage the perfection that he deserves. So Lord Shiva, he tells a very wonderful thing. He says, O Parvati, O Bhavani, this sage, this Brahmana has attained perfection of his life. He has attained pure devotional service. And therefore he has no desire for liberation. But he says, Athapi samvadishyamo bhavanyetena sadhuna ayam hi paramo labho nrinam sadhu samagamaha. He says, O Parvati, although this sage does not need any benediction, but still let's go and talk with him. Athapi samvadishyamo bhavani. O Bhavani, still we will go and talk with him. Why? Ayam hi paramo labho nrinam sadhu samagama. So this verse very wonderfully describes the importance of sadhu samagam, association of devotees. Lord Shiva, who is supreme, he is as good as Supreme Lord himself. He is saying, still we should go and talk with this Brahmana because association with saintly devotee is the man's highest achievement. This is the importance of sadhu samagama. Although Shiva is the best of the devotees, he is stressing so much. Let's go and talk to this personality. And in further verses, he'll describe something more about this association. So now, having spoken thus, Lord Shankara, who is described as the shelter of all the souls, he is the master of all the spiritual sciences and he is the controller of all the living entities. He approached the sage. Why he is called as the shelter of pure souls? Why Lord Shiva is the shelter of pure souls? Because Lord Shiva, he is the supreme devotee. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. And therefore, he is the shelter of devotees because he gives devotion service. Devotional, he is the reservoir of bhakti. Krishna said, Tomara Krishna dite parak, Tomara Shakti ache. Ami to Kangala Krishna Krishna boli dhai tava pache pache. So devotees, because they have Krishna in their heart, they can give Krishna. So Lord Shiva, because he is such a great devotee, he is the shelter of devotees. And also he is the shelter of non-devotees also. Why? Because he is Ashutosh. He very easily gets pleased. So therefore it is found that generally people, they don't go to Krishna. They go to Lord Shiva for getting whatever they want. All the material benedictions, because Lord Shiva gets pleased very easily. So therefore, Lord Shiva is the shelter of devotees also, and he is the shelter of non-devotees also. Those who have material desires, both go to Lord Shiva. And also he is a master of all types of knowledge. He is a master of all the mystic powers. So therefore he is described as Lord of all the beings, Ishvara. So Lord Krishna, although he is a supreme controller, but in this material world, Lord Shiva is the supreme because he is the husband of Durga Devi, and Durga Devi is the controller of this material world. So in that sense, Lord Shiva is also the supreme. So there is no confusion. There should be no confusion, because in various places in Bhagavatam it is described that Lord Shiva is a supreme personality. When after this we have heard that after uh, Daksha performed yajna and Sati, she went and she burnt herself. Lord Shiva, he became so very angry. He sent his associates. They destroyed the entire sacrificial arena. So all the devatas headed by Brahma, they go to Lord Shiva. They glorify Lord Shiva as a supreme personality of Godhead. You are the controller, you are the maintainer, you are the destroyer of this entire universe. The same set of prayers come again in the 8th canto. When Devatas, they go to Lord Shiva and request him to drink this poison which has come. So therefore, when all these types of prayers, they come in Bhagavatam, one should not get confused that how is this possible? Lord Shiva is glorified as a supreme Lord because he is the controller, he is actually the Lord of this material world, working under Krishna. So Lord Shiva, he is described as the shelter of all the devotees. He is the supreme Lord of all the beings. So Lord Shiva approaches Markandeya Muni along with Uma. And he tells, oh Markandeya, please open your eyes. Oh Markandeya, I have come. But Markandeya, he is so very absorbed in meditation, complete trance. He is unaware of either himself, he is unaware of anything which is happening around. He is completely absorbed in meditating on the form of the Lord, which is there in the heart of Markandeya. So therefore, he did not observe Lord Shiva also and his wife. So Lord Shiva, he understood. He is also omniscient. You know, the 5 qualities of Lord Shiva which are not present in Brahma. He is Sarvagya, Nitya Nutanaha, Satchidananda Sandrangaha, Sarva Siddhi Nishevataha. He is Atmaram. You know, he is Sarvagya, he is omniscient. So he knew the condition of Markandeya. So what he did, he entered within the sky of Markandeya's heart. He uh, he covered the vision of Markandeya, and Markandeya, he could not see the Lord. And instead of the vision of the Supreme Lord, he saw Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he had a golden hair. So he is seeing the appearance of Lord Shiva in his heart. He is having a golden hair, 3 eyes, 10 arms, and he has a very tall body like a rising sun. And he is wearing a tiger skin, having a trident, prayer beads in his hand, a water pot, a sword, arrow, shield, all these things he is holding in his 10 hands. So when Markandeya, he saw, he was astonished. He came out of the trance and thought, who is this person? Where has he come from? And as he opened his eyes, the person whom he was seeing in his heart, he was in front. So he saw Lord Shiva along with Parvati in front of him. Immediately he got up, offered all the obeisances, worshipped Lord Shiva and Parvati by offering lots of wonderful presentations. You first of all made them sit, washed their feet, then offered scented drinking water, then fragrant oils, then offered arati, then flower garlands. Worshipped Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati very nicely. And then Markandeya, he praises Lord Shiva. He says, O mighty Lord, what can I possibly do for you? You are self-satisfied. You are the controller of this entire universe. In fact, by your mercy, you satisfy this world. So what can I do for you? And actually, you are beyond the modes. You are transcendental. But for the welfare of people in general, you take all these different modes. You take mode of goodness and give pleasure to the devotees. You take mode of passion and create fear. And also you take mode of ignorance. In this way, when Markandeya, he offered his beautiful prayers, Lord Shiva became very satisfied and he started addressing the sage. So Lord Shiva says, O great sage Markandeya, I am very pleased by your devotional service you are performing. Please ask some benediction. Because seeing us, Brahma, Vishnu and I, whenever we appear in front of somebody, our audience should not go in vain. Because simply by seeing us, any mortal being achieves immortality. And then he says, all the living entities, you know, along with we, Lord Brahma, Supreme Personality of Godhead, they glorify, worship, and assist Brahmanas who are having wonderful qualities like Brahmana Shadava Shanta Nisanga Bhutavatsala Ekanta Bhakta Asmasu Nirvaira Samadarshina. So he's saying, Lord Shiva is saying, we worship actually Brahmanas. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Supreme Lord Himself. We heard in the fourth canto when Jai Vijay, they go to the third canto, when they go to the Vaikuntha, and there was an argument which happened between Jai Vijay and the four Kumaras. Lord Shiva comes out and says, actually, this is my fault, and I am ready to lop off my own arm if it is found hostile to Brahmanas. So Lord Shiva is also praising the Brahmanas here, saying Brahmanas, they are sadhava, they are saintly, peaceful, equipoised, free from any material attachment, compassionate, purely devoted to us. They are having equal vision. And therefore, he says that actually devotees like you do not differentiate between Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, myself. So therefore, we worship you actually. So Lord Shiva is saying, because devotees, they don't discriminate between Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So therefore, Lord Shiva is saying, I also worship devotees. So this is a very, very important thing we have to understand. Because many times when we come to Krishna consciousness, we start seeing a Devata, even Lord Shiva as ordinary Devata. He is a supreme Lord. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they are the Gunavatar. And then he glorifies the devotees. Nahi ammayani tirthani na deva chettanojita te punantiru kalena yuyam darshana matrata. He says, mere bodies of water do not constitute holy places. Lifeless statues of the devatas, they do not constitute worshipable deities. These personality, these places or these deities, because people, they do not have the actual vision, and they fail to appreciate the wonderful glories of the holy place and the deities and the demigods. They get purified by association of the holy place after a long, long time. Te punanti urukalena. But devotees like you, yuyam darshana matrataha. Just by taking your darshan, one gets purified. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavan darshane pavitra karo eito margun. That is what is glory of a Vaishnava. Darshane pavitra karo eito margun. Just by seeing the taking darshan of devotee, one gets purified. And then he says one more wonderful verse. He says, Shravanad darshanad vapi महापातकिनोऽपि वः शुद्धेरन्त्यजश्चातः किम् उ सम्भाषणादिभिः. So he says, just hearing, just having darshan of the devotee purifies the heart. Just hearing about devotee purifies the heart. Darshan of the devotees purify the heart. Then Mahapatikinopivaha, even if somebody has performed a greatly sinful activity, if one just remembers pure devotee, he gets purified. Shuddheran antejas chapi. he gets purified. Then, kimu sambhashanadibi, what to speak of if somebody gets a chance to speak to a great personality? There is no end of the fortune. So just because we have come in Krishna consciousness and we are surrounded by so many devotees, we may underestimate the importance of association of devotees, and we start discriminating many times. Oh, this devotee is, he has come later than me, he is younger, he is a junior devotee, and he is also senior devotee, but he is not so great. Pure devotee, I will take darshan of pure devotee properly. छोटा बड़ा भक्तगण बंदो सभा श्री चरण सबे मोर कर संतोष श्री रूप गोसाइयत रूप रघुनाथ जानियत ताई लिखी नाही मोर दोष. So Kaviraj Goswami, who is a writer of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the PhD literature of Bhakti, he is expressing his humility. He is saying, I am taking shelter of all the devotees. Chota Bada Bhaktagan Bando Sabha Sri Charan. I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the devotees. Sabe Mora Koraha Santosh. Please be satisfied with my endeavor. So that is the glory of devotee association. So it is the rarest of the rare commodity which we are getting in Kali Yuga. Shaile shaile na manikyam maurtikam na gaje gaje chandanam na vane vane sadhu nahi sarvatra. Just like not every stone is diamond, just like you will not find a diamond, a jewel in the head of every elephant. Not every forest is a sandalwood forest. Similarly, sadhu nahi sarvatra. Association of devotees is very, very rare. To such an extent that Lord Shiva is coming and is so happy to associate with a great devotee like Markandeya Muni. So therefore, that is the privilege we have got just by being in association of devotees in Kali Yuga. There are four things which make a person fortunate. Mamanaradya dukkhartham kutumba saktamanasah satsangrahito martyo vriddha seva parichyuta. So Krishna is saying, a person who gets a chance to worship me, he is fortunate. A person who gets a chance to associate with my devotees, he is fortunate. One who realizes that the goal of life is not just to enjoy, take care of the family, but to love God, he is fortunate. A person who gets a chance to serve the superior devotees, he is fortunate. So therefore, just by being in touch with Krishna consciousness, by mercy of Prabhupada, by mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by mercy of all the devotees, we are getting the rarest of the rare things. And this is a very graphic description where Lord Shiva is glorifying devotees so much. So then after Lord Shiva glorified Markandeya Muni, when he heard such wonderful words, he was not satiated hearing such wonderful nectarian words from Lord Shiva. Not because he was glorifying Markandeya, but Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually he was happy that he is getting instructions. Very, very wonderful thing. So Lord Shiva, Markandeya Muni, he was taking all these glorification as instruction. Okay, this is what type of person I should become. That is the mood of a devotee. If somebody glorifies a devotee for the qualities which he has, somebody may be a singer, somebody may be a great speaker, manager, whoever you may be, wonderful skills you may have. But when somebody glorifies, we should accept that glorification and pass on to the parampara. And we should also think, okay, I have to refine myself more and more to serve devotees better. We should not expect the appreciation. So that is what Markandeya Muni is thinking, and he is very satiated. He is not satiated. And hearing the words, nectarian words of Lord Shiva, which were full of confidential essence of religion. He was very happy. What was the essence of religion? So Lord Shiva was speaking about the essence of bhakti. That is dharma. And it was guhya. What was the guhya? What was the confidential thing in that? In 22nd verse, Lord Shiva told Markandeya, actually we worship you. That was confidential. Lord Shiva worshipping the devotees of the Lord. That is confidential. Yah param brahmasa sakshat triguna jiva sangitat bhagvantam vasudevam prapanna sapriyosime. So Lord Shiva, he tells Prachetas that because you all are devotees of Lord Vishnu, so you all are dear to me. That is a confidential thing. So Markandeya, when he heard Lord Shiva speaking that please ask for some benediction, he says, actually it is most difficult to understand the pastimes of the controllers of the universe. First of all, he starts glorifying Lord Shiva. It is so very difficult to understand the words of the controllers of the universe. They bow down and offer respects to those whom they control. Because who is Lord Shiva? He is the supreme controller. And he says, then Lord Markandeya says that actually the teachers of religion, they exhibit certain behavior and they praise the proper behavior of people so that, embodied souls, those who are in this material world, they can learn just to show the world how to behave properly. That's why Lord Shiva is glorifying Markandeya. That's what Markandeya Muni is saying. He says actually such humility which is shown by you, O my Lord, it is simply a show of mercy on living entities. Because you want to establish a wonderful example. That is the mercy you are showing to all the living entities. And therefore, such behavior of Supreme Personality of Godhead and his associates, it is simply to show compassion. Just like, he says, just like a magician, he may show so many wonderful magical feats. But the power of magician does not go down by showing all those magical tricks. Similarly, you are not becoming any less when you are glorifying ordinary people like me. And then Markandeya Muni glorifies the Supreme Personality. He says, I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates this universe, enters this universe as super soul, and then he acts through the modes of material nature and makes everything work. Just like a dreamer, he seems to be acting within the dream. Similarly, you also act. It seems that you are the direct creator, but actually you are not the direct creator. You are aloof from the material creation. You are the owner, you are the supreme controller of this entire world, entire universe. Therefore, O my Lord, you are the supreme guru of all. Then he says, O Lord Shiva, O my Lord, after seeing you, what other benediction can I ask for? Simply by getting your darshan, all the desires of a person is fulfilled and he can achieve anything which is imaginable. But then he says, but still, I do request one benediction from you. He says, I ask to have unfailing devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also to his dedicated devotees like you. So these are the two things he asked. Unalloyed devotional service for the Supreme Lord and for the devotees also. This prayer is there offered by all the devotees. May I become devoted to Krishna and devoted to the devotees also. Parikshit Maharaj, He also offered prayers. Tamopayatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhritachittam Dvijopasrishtam kuhakastakshako va dashattulam gayata Vishnu Gatha. O sages, you keep reciting the glories of Lord Shiva. If I have to come back again in this, you keep on reciting the glories of Lord Vishnu. Dashattulam gayata Vishnu Gatha. If I have to come back in this world, please give me three things. Please give me Rati Prasanga Chatadashrayeshu Mahatsuyamyam Upayami Srishtim Maitrestu Sarvatra Namo Dujebhyaha. Please give me unalloyed devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, association of devotees, and mercy for all the living entities. So Markandeya is also asking for the same thing. Please give me unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Lord and also to the devotees. So, after Lord Shiva was worshipped and glorified by Markandeya, actually Mother Parvati, she was also encouraging Lord Shiva. Please give him benedictions. That's how Mother Parvati, she is also equally, happy when she sees somebody coming close to Supreme Lord. So therefore, when we see Mother Parvati, Durga, whenever she puts somebody into trouble, that is just to test him. And she keeps hoping that may he pass that test, he or she pass the test. Because he is a supreme devotee, she is a Vaishnavi. She is a supreme devotee, Vaishnavi. And she also likes to glorify devotees. She likes to give benediction to devotees. That's why she told Lord Shiva, please go, we should talk, we should give blessings. So Lord Shiva, when he was glorified by Markandeya, he starts giving benedictions. He says, because you are devoted to Lord Vasudeva, Adhokshaja, all your desires will be fulfilled. And then, Lord Shiva offers so many benedictions which are not asked by Markandeya also. He says, you will enjoy pious fame, freedom from old age and death till the end of Brahma's day. For one kalpa, your fame will remain. May you have knowledge of the past, present and future, transcendental realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May you become completely renounced from all these material attachments, and you will get the post of spiritual master of all the Puranas. That is a benediction. Lord Shiva, he gave. All the Markandeya Muni did not ask. That is how Lord Shiva is. He's so very happy seeing the devotee. He gives so many benedictions. And then after offering benedictions, Lord Shiva went on his way. And as he was going to his Kailash, on the way also he is glorifying, he is telling Goddess Parvati, what are the accomplishments of this Markandeya? How he saw the entire illusory energy of the Lord, how he was in this water of annihilation. So he is glorifying. Lord Shiva is so very happy glorifying the devotee of the Lord. So Shukdev Goswami, after after describing this, he concludes the narration about Markandeya Rishi and he glorifies Markandeya Rishi. He says Markandeya Rishi is so very glorious because he attained the perfection of mystic yoga. And he says even today he travels in this world fully absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, O sages of Naimisharanya, I have narrated to you the wonderful activities of sage Markandeya. He says this event is so very unique, unprecedented, that people who are not intelligent, they compare that, okay, this is some comparison which is made to describe the cycle of this material nature. Actually, there is nothing like this happened. So Sut Goswami says, actually, this is foolish conception. Actually, Supreme Lord showed this entire illusory energy to Markandeya Rishi. And Then in the end of this chapter, Sud Goswami gives the Falastuti. He says, this account conveys the transcendental potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who hears and narrates this wonderful story about Markandeya, he will never undergo material existence. So with this chapter ends, and then the next chapter, the 11th chapter, which is entitled as the summary description of Mahapurusha. So in this chapter, Saunakadi Rishis, they start this chapter by asking a question. So they say, Shaunak Rishi is asking question. He says, "O Sud Goswami, you are such a great devotee of the Lord, and you know the conclusions of all the tantras. So, Markandeya, actually, why he is asking about this? Because Markandeya was very expert in the tantric worship. There is a right hand tantra and left hand tantra. So, left hand tantra is all black magic. The right hand tantra is the deity worship, Pancharatra. So the sages now they are still thinking about Markandeya. So they are asking about, they are going to ask about the tantra. He says, so he's asking Sud Goswami, he says, please explain to us the Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga means the deity worship. So Kriya Yoga, through which the worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead is done, and how the Supreme Lord is conceived by devotees, how this universal form is conceived by the devotees of the Lord. So how devotee conceives the various limbs, associates, weapons and the ornaments of the Lord in the universal form. Because by perfectly worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a mortal of this world can attain immortality. So Sud Goswami, when he hears this question, he says, the universal, so first of all he offers obeisances to Shukdev Goswami, and he says, I shall now describe to you the opulence of Lord Vishnu as it is described in the Vedas and the Tantras. So he says the universal form of the Lord, that is basically made up of 9 elements of creation. What are those 9 elements? The 9 elements are Prakriti, Sutra Tattva, the Mahat Tattva, false ego, and the 5 sense objects or tanmatras. Then he says, actually, the three planetary systems, they become visible when Supreme Lord instills consciousness into these 9 elements. And then this 9 elements, they get organized into the 14 planetary systems. This universal form is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the universal person. And then they describe how to see the various parts of the universe and connect to the various limbs of the Virat Purusha. The earth is like a feet of the Lord. The sky is the navel. The eyes, the sun are the eyes. The wind is the nostril. The demigods of procreation, they are like the Prajapatis. They are the genitals. Then the death is the anus. The moon is the mind. Heavenly planets, they are the head. The directions, they are the ears. Then the demigods protecting the various planets, they are like the arms. God of death is the eyebrows. Shame is the lower lip. Greed is the upper lip. The moonshine is the teeth. And the clouds are the hair on his head. So these are the various parts of the universe which are compared to the body of the Lord. Just like one can determine the dimensions of a person by measuring the limbs, similarly, one can determine the dimensions of this universal form, Mahapurusha, by measuring the arrangements of the planetary systems in this Virat Purusha. And then after describing the limbs of the Lord, then he describes about the ornaments. How various ornaments one should see as the part of the limb. Kaustubh gem, it is like the spirit soul. The pure spirit soul is the Kaustubh gem. The Shrivatsa, which is there on the chest of this Mahapurusha, that is a manifestation of the effulgence. The flower garland which is you are wearing is the material energy. The yellow garment is the Vedic meter. The sacred thread is the syllable Om. Shark shaped earrings, they are like the Sankhya and Yoga. The crown is the supreme position of the Brahmanas. And then he describes the weapons. He says the club is the pran, conch shell is water, sudarshan is the fire, sword is the ether, shield is the mode of ignorance, sarangabo is the time, quiver is a working sensory organ. And in this way he goes on describing various things, and then he describes the associates of the Lord also. He says umbrella, Lord's umbrella is like a Vaikuntha, Garuda is the threefold Vedas, goddess of fortune appears as the representation of the internal energy. Vishwaksena, one of the associates of the Lord, prime associates of the Lord, he represents, he is a personification of Pancharatra and the other tantras. There are 8 doorkeepers, primary doorkeepers. They are like the Ashta, they are the Siddhis, Ashta Siddhis. And then he says, Lord expands as Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, and maintains this entire universe. Supreme Personality actually can be conceived in terms of Jagrata, Swapna, Susupti, but he is beyond all these three. He is called Turiya, the 4th stage. Those who worship this form of the Lord with devotion, they can also realize the absolute soul. Who is that absolute soul? The supreme soul is self-luminous. He is the source of all the Vedas. He is perfect. He is the source of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And then, after describing everything, then Suta Goswami describes actually Supreme Lord Krishna is a real object of worship. Worship of the universal form, it is just a worship of a portion of Krishna. But the worship of Supreme Lord is the actual worship. And then he speaks a very wonderful prayer. This verse is very, very similar to the last prayer of Kunti Maharani, which has come in the first canto. Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishni Vrishabhavani Druk Rajanyaham Sadhana Napavarga Viryaha Govinda Gopavanita Brajbhritya Nidgita Tirtha Shrava Shravana Mangala Pahi Bhrityan. O Krishna, Krishna Sakha, O friend of Arjuna, Vrishni Rishabhavani, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of all the political parties who are disturbing elements on this earth. Rajanyavamsha Dhana Napavarga Viryaha. And then Govinda Gopavanita Vrajbhritya Gita. You are Govinda. You give pleasure to the cows. You give pleasure to the cowherd damsels of Vrindavan. Tirtha Shravaha. You are the sacred holy place of pilgrimage. Shravana Mangala. Just hearing about you is all auspicious. Pahi Bhrityan. Oh my Lord, please protect your devotees. Then he says, anyone who chants this description of the universal form in the early morning, fixing his mind on Mahapurusha, will realize him as a supreme absolute truth in his heart. Then, after describing, Shaunak Rishi, he starts the description of the associates, the 7 personal features, and because Shaunak Rishi, he asks about the sun god. So Suta Goswami starts the description of 7 personal associates, personal features, and the 6 associates of sun god. So Shaunak Rishi, he asks, O Sutta Goswami, please describe about the 7 personal features and the associates of sun god in 12 months. So basically there are 12 Adityas. So in every month there is one Aditya who is responsible for the movements of sun. And of course there is one primary Surya, Vivaswana, and under him he is a main deity, and the other Adityas, they take charge of maintaining this universe by giving the sunshine in monthly rotation. So Shaunak Rishi, when he asks, he says actually sun, he glorifies Surya. The sun, he travels all over the universe, and he gives light to all the living entities. And sun god is one soul of all the worlds, who is maintaining the entire universe by his light. He is personal expansion of the Supreme Personality. Indra, he is the Vibhuti expansion, and Surya, he is actually the Shaktyavesh avatar. So sun god, he is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is described in 9 aspects: the time, place, endeavor, performer, instrument, rituals, scriptures, paraphernalia of worship, and result to be achieved. And therefore, he continues, he says, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Sun God, he travels in the 12 months to regulate the planetary movements, and he travels with 6 associates. So please tell us about those. So Sudha Goswami, he starts the narration. There are 6 associates of sun god: Apsaras, Rakshasas, Nagas, Yakshas, the sages, and the Gandharvas. Then from 33rd to 44 verses, he describes these 6 associates who are there in every month. He starts from Chaitra. In Chaitra month, the sun god is, he says, Krishasthali is the Apsara, sun god is Dhata, Heti is the Rakshasa, Vasuki is the Nag, Rathakrita is Yaksha, Pulastya is the sage, and Tamburu is the Gandharva. Like that, he goes on for the description of all the 12 months. Then after that, in the 45th verse, he says, all these are the expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Sun God. They take away the sinful reactions of all the living entities, and this sun god, he's traveling in all the directions, and he's disseminating purity of consciousness. The sages, they glorify the sun god. The apsaras, they dance. The gandharvas, they glorify with choicest prayers. The nagas, they arranged for the chariot ropes of the sun god. Yakshas, they harness the horses. The rakshasas, they push this horse chariot from behind. So all these 6 personalities are involved in this, chariot of sun god moving. It is very, very important. And then as this chariot of sun god is moving, there are 60,000 brahmanas called Valkhilya rishis. They, with their face towards the chariot, they move backwards, and they keep offering prayers to sun god. And that's how they keep glorifying the sun god. So therefore, Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though unborn, he expands himself into all these categories to protect this world. So this is the end of the 11th chapter. So after this, in the 12th and 13th chapter, 12th chapter is itself a huge chapter, so we'll continue tomorrow. So anybody has any questions, you can please ask, or we'll stop here.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, that means the sun which we see every day, he is not the Vivaswan himself.
No. In one of the month, Vivaswan is the sun god.
Okay.
So that Vivaswan is one of the 12 Adityas, and of course he is the primary responsible person, and he gives charge to different all the other Adityas also. But he is the primary person who is in charge in this Manvantar.
Because we always say that
Yeah,
sun, there
Vivaswan
is
is the
only one
primary
sun.
sun god. Yes. Vyam Vivasate Yogam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
But there are 12 Adityas who take role in different months. So that's what is described. But Vivaswan is of course the primary uh, uh, sun
That
god
means
who is
there are
involved.
12 suns.
Yes, we know. We have heard many times that there are 12 Adityas. So these
Yeah,
12
but then
Adityas, they
where do they reside then? Because there it must be well,
they
so
see
heat.
every devta has a planet,
Yes.
and primarily whenever the charge of this sun has to be taken, responsible for moving this chariot and giving light and heat and all the energy to the universe, then they come in the position. And I don't know the details of where they are staying, but that is what is described in the Bhagavatam, that there are 12 Adityas, and Vivaswan is also in one of the 6th month, I think he takes charge. He is the sun god. Even Varuna is the sun god in one of the months, like that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, any other question anybody has? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.